track it off to the east southeast. And again, they were tracking it at 90 miles per hour. The whole system is not moving at 90, but it's the apex of the bow, this part right here, that was really just moving extremely fast at 90 miles per hour at one point. And that's when we were really concerned with the strong gusty winds. And we're still seeing strong gusty winds. You can see that update live right there on the air. That's the gust front moving out of Alexander County, about to move into parts of Pulaski County and parts of southern Union County. And as we kind of follow this off to the south, you can see we're not seeing quite as strong winds towards the Sikeston and Dexter area, at least on radar, as we were earlier. We can look in here as well to see if we're seeing the possibility of strong hail signatures. And we do have some strong hail signatures near Sikeston. We've got another strong hail signature in Scott County right there as it's moving to the south of the airport in Scott City. Strong indication of seeing some hail. So hail and high winds right now appear to be the main threat with this line of storms as it continues to move off to the east. We're going to track it. I'm going to track the overall movement at about 55 miles per hour because that's the average. I don't want to track that apex of the bow that was just bowing out real fast, because that, when it did, it was moving at 90 miles per hour. And that's when we saw significant damage with it as it moved across a good bit of the area. But we'll kind of put our finger on the bow and we're going to move it off to the east, and we're going to move it off at 55 miles per hour. And you can see that the areas that will be indicated under the gun over the next hour, you can see some of these locations that'll be hit by this extremely intense bow echo that has very, very strong gusty winds moving with it right now as it moves off to the east. And again, it's moving off to the east at about 55 miles per hour. Earlier, the apex of the bow was moving at 90 miles per hour. And the main threat right now appears to be very strong gusty winds and hail up to the size of quarters. Am I missing anything, Brian? Are we getting any reports of anything else? I want to make sure that we're covering everything on this storm as it moves through southern Illinois now.
Still talking about some widespread power outages, Grant. The newest numbers coming in, we now have, get this, Grant, 15,533 power outages in southeast Missouri, 4,000 power outages in southern Illinois. We have widespread reports of trees down, power lines down, transformers blown. Unfortunately, we have a report of a tree on a car just a few miles south of Greenville, Missouri. No word on the extent of any injuries. We also have power outages to pass along from Van Buren, Missouri. This is common. This is what we're getting all over southeast Missouri. Farmington, extensive damage, lots of power outages. A lot of you following meteorologist Laura Wibbenmeyer on Facebook Live right now, you guys are reporting those outages, reporting those damage. Keep it coming. We're going to go back and review those. Thank you for tuning in, and stay with us here as we track this very powerful line of thunderstorms now roll into southern Illinois. These severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect until 6:15, but I have full confidence that it will be extended as these thunderstorms continue to roll eastward into parts of southern Illinois. So again, very strong wind gusts were noted from Perryville down to Cape Girardeau in excess of 60 miles an hour. We're also tracking, aside from the high wind threat, we're also tracking numerous flash flood warnings along this line of thunderstorms extending from, let's say, Wickliffe, Kentucky, all the way back toward Scott City, all the way back to Cairo, into Dexter, back to Poplar Bluff and the Greenville area. This whole swath here is parallel to the winds aloft. So these thunderstorms are just going to continue raining themselves out. So we're looking at extensive rain from Poplar Bluff to Dexter, Sikeston, Morley, all the way to Cairo and let's say Dealstad area and the Wickliffe area. So these areas under a severe thunderstorm warning in addition to a flash flood warning. This area from, let's say, Randolph County, Jackson, Union County under a severe thunderstorm warning until 6:15 as the leading edge of this thunderstorm is now moving east at 90 miles per hour. And we're getting wind reports of 60 to 80 miles an hour. A lot of outages to pass along. Again, latest information passed along to me. There are over 15,000 reports of power outages in southeast Missouri alone. There are 4,000 power outages in southern Illinois from this high wind, and chances are we've got a lot of lightning too and some small hail from time to time. So again, we're going to stay with you. This is a big deal. This is in the middle of a peak We're not going to go off the air until everybody in the heartland is safe. So right now, a severe thunderstorm warning in effect from Jackson, Union, Alexander, Ballard, Carlisle County, extending back toward, let's say, Poplar Bluff, the Butler County, Scott County area. These severe thunderstorm warnings in effect until 6:15. The leading edge of these thunderstorms are moving to the east at 90 miles an hour, and the wind on the backside of these thunderstorms are gusting at about 60 to 80 miles an hour. We've had a lot of reports extending as far back as Reynolds, Washington, and Iron County of transformers blown, power lines down, tree limbs down, some trees uprooted. That's the same story for Farmington, all the way down to Greenville and to Piedmont, as well as the Carter County area, Van Buren. We have a lot of reports of downed power lines, a lot of trees uprooted, snapped, a lot of power outages. Again, we've got 15,000 power outages in southeast Missouri alone. We've got 4,000 power outages in southern Illinois. Chances are that's from the storms earlier. Now we've got another round pushing straight through. So hopefully, if you guys are tuning in, hopefully you know some people that you can pass word along if they do not have power right now. Be sure to text them, let them know. Let's say from Anna, Vienna, Marion, down to Rosaclare, Hardin, Pope and Hardin counties. Give them that first alert. We're tracking some intense thunderstorms moving straight for them at 90 miles an hour, with wind gusts behind this leading edge of thunderstorms approaching 60 to 80 miles an hour. So a particularly dangerous situation unfolding for the heartland as we continue to track these thunderstorms. Again, the severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 6:15. Looks like we have a new one. A new one until 6:45. Severe thunderstorm warning for Carlisle, Fulton, Hickman County in Kentucky, Mississippi, New Madrid, Starter County, Missouri until 6:45. Also the threat of some very heavy rain, Grant. We're going to be dealing with some flash flooding issues, not only for the next couple of hours, but with all the rain developing off to our southwest. This is going to aggravate all the flooding issues that we've seen over the past couple of months.
BMAC, I'm going to sneak in here with you. I am doing a Facebook Live still here, but I do want to send out a couple reports.
Please do.
Ping pong size hail in 9 miles north of Wapapello. Also a tree, Kathy's saying a tree was uprooted and fell on a house in Anna, Illinois. That's on Spring Street. So I don't know if anybody from our newsroom is listening right now. I will report that, and we'll check on that too. Obviously lots of power outages, people saying they're hearing their tornado sirens. So glad that communities are taking that measure instead of you may be under a severe thunderstorm warning, but of course we've been talking about how strong these winds are too.
Absolutely.
So expect power outages. I know many of you are trying to ask about your specific town, but right now we're focusing on the strongest winds. But we are here, we are live on our app too. So if you do lose power, you still have ways to get updates, because that's the number one thing we want to get across today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, houses, trees on houses, that can cause serious problems as well. Again, the new severe thunderstorm warning. And Paducah, let me give you your first alert. This is headed your way, folks. You know, we've been tracking this Bow Echo for quite some time. Paducah, you've got about, I'd say 20 to 30 minutes before we start seeing that gust front move into your area. And this is going to be a significant wind event. Now, as we take a look at the wind speeds, now notice, you see this bright blue? This is the gust front. This is what's doing all the damage. This right here is the rear inflow jet. Now, when we see this touching this, that's how we know we can get 100-mile-per-hour winds down the surface. Right now, there's a little void in the strong winds. Let's say, I don't know, about 800 feet. This is getting real close to the radar. So this is about 800 feet off the ground. So let's zoom in there. This is pretty much the truth of what's going to be hitting you at the surface with this gust front. These wind speeds right here, and you can see here's the Paducah radar site. So this is very low to the ground, and when we take a look at the winds in there, we're probably going to be looking at 60, 70, maybe a little higher than that in a few areas, but very strong gusty winds, 63-mile-per-hour winds, and I just happened to pick 1 pixel, so that's not the strongest. So we're seeing 60 to 80-mile-per-hour winds within this line. It's crossing the Ohio River right now, and it's going to be moving into, it's going to be moving into Massac County here pretty close, and McCracken County as well. So very, very strong gusty winds. This gust front has been going for quite some time. We were tracking it as it was west of Reynolds County, and now it is about to move towards the Paducah area, and we still have a very strong inflow, rear inflow jet. That's what that blue is. That's where we're seeing winds just off the ground at 80 to 100 miles per hour. And at times, that type of wind can be tapped and brought down to the surface. And that's when we see the worst type of damage. And that's what we're getting with this line of storms. So basically, a good bit of western Kentucky, Hickman, Fulton County, Carlisle, Ballard County. We've got Mississippi County, New Madrid County. We've got southeastern Stoddard County. This would be the storm that we were talking about. I think that Wibbemeyer, Laura was saying ping pong ball size hail, Wappapello.
Yeah. Yes.
That would be that storm right there that is now to the south of Sykeston.
Also getting some reports of, sorry to interrupt you there, getting some reports of the roof blown off of the movie theater. In Dexter, I believe.
Dexter?
Let me check that city. I'm sorry. I have so many comments here. I have to go back. But yes, a couple people now reporting that there's been a movie theater roof blown off in Dexter.
Okay. So just very strong winds. Again, that's been the whole concern is the fact that very strong gusty winds. Hopefully there weren't a lot of people in the theater, and hopefully we don't have any reports of injuries or anything, just roof damage right now, right?
Yes,
okay,
yes. And on a car, too, in Dexter. But Sheena now saying she hasn't heard that anyone was in the car, so we hope that is true.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, we're seeing lots and lots of reports of wind damage, and this will continue as we head throughout the evening hours. The worst part of the storm right now, crossing Highway 37 north of Mounds in southern Illinois, about to cross the Ohio River. So we headed over towards Joppa, La Center, over towards Paducah. This is where we're seeing the strongest winds. I'm going to zoom in even farther, moving right across 37 right now. We've got what we call, looks like a little bit more, what we like to call that folding, that when the winds get so strong, the radar can't register them. And that seems to be the case right there. We're seeing very strong gusty winds, more than likely, across a good bit of the area. Crossing the Ohio River, there's 65-mile-per-hour wind gusts. We could take a look at this right here to see what we've got wind gust-wide, 74-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So on average, like we're saying, 60 to 80 in many areas with this gust front right now that is headed towards the Paducah area. Paducah, you've got about 10 minutes or so, the western side, before this gust front gets into your neck of the woods and starts knocking out your power. You can get as much charge as you can on that phone, on that tablet, on that mobile device. We've got lots of rough weather that is across the area right now. We'll put the reflectivity back on so you can see all the warnings. Again, basically just a huge severe thunderstorm warning. Now notice the northern end of this warning has not been extended yet, but we may very well see that happening all the way into Pope County later on, because this strong gust front is headed your way as it continues to move off to the east at about 55 miles per hour. The apex of the bow earlier was clocked at 90 miles per hour, and it was at that time when we were seeing extreme winds with it, and when we saw the most damage occur. I want to take a quick look at what could be headed our way for maybe round 3. This is just getting old, folks, but we've got more storms that are developing, and you can see what could be headed our way. Reynolds County, Iron County, more storms forming out to the west. We'll take a quick look at the overall spectrum. Oh, boy. See, these storms right here are beginning to spin. See, these are isolated supercells that are redeveloping behind this main gust front that we saw. So we may be seeing a secondary tornado threat develop across our western counties if that trend continues. That is a powerful storm that's beginning to develop. And again, they're moving towards the heartland. This is going to be a long evening the way it looks right now. But our biggest concern right now is moving into parts of southern Illinois, parts of western Kentucky. I'm going to grab a sheet here so I can make sure I get everything absolutely accurate, because there's so many counties. I just want to give you a heads up for these places that are not under warnings, that will go under warnings more than likely. So Hardin County, Pope County, we're going to see parts of Johnson County probably go under warning soon. Massac, McCracken County, Graves County, also Livingston County, Crittenden County, Lyon County, Marshall County. All these areas are ahead of this storm. And as we put a storm track on it, it's more, again, I'm going to track it at 55 miles per hour just because that's been the average speed that it's moved. Every once in a while it accelerates when it does some significant wind damage, but we'll put it on 55 miles per hour. And you can see it's getting very close to exiting the heartland in about an hour. So in about an hour and 15 to 20 minutes, So at about 7:20, 7:30, this bow echo will likely be moving out of the area, and then we will be focusing our attention on what happens here. What we're hoping that is happening is that the atmosphere's energy will be robbed enough to where when these storms move in, that they will weaken significantly. And that's what we really are hoping for. This has been a busy day, a long day, and unfortunately we've had lots of reports of damage. Thankfully, we have not had any reports of injuries, and hopefully that trend will continue. A little concerning when I hear roofs being blown off of structures and trees falling on cars. That's usually when we start seeing injury reports, but so far we have not. Let's track the winds again. Very strong gust front moving into McCracken County right now. Very strong winds. Now notice we still have that very strong rear inflow jet aloft across the back of the Bow Echo. But we have got intense winds moving into McCracken County right now. So Paducah, you are under the gun. This is your first alert that 70 to 80 mile per hour winds will be moving into your area shortly. We can see I wonder if that's the new severe thunderstorm warning that they did maybe for, yep, that is it. Look at that. A blanket severe thunderstorm warning for basically most of western Kentucky and for parts of Pope County in southern Illinois. We're seeing also near the Goreville area, I think, as we head towards the Johnson County area right here along Interstate 24. The warning has been extended for the possibility of some extremely intense winds. Brian, do you have an estimate what they're thinking wind speeds now? They're still looking at 60 to 80. You can see that's until 7:15 this evening.
Yeah, they're still expecting 60 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts as it moves from southeast Missouri into western Kentucky. And we just had some photos sent into the First Alert Weather Center. Here's the movie theater in Dexter. We can see part of the roof blown off and onto a few cars. No reports of any injuries as of right now, but we are getting some widespread reports of tree damage, power lines down. This is, again, the movie theater in Dexter, Missouri. You see some of the roof was taken off and tossed onto some of the cars. A lot of reports just like this, spanning from Farmington all the way down to Dexter and back toward Potosi and even to parts of, let's say, Van Buren. So here's another photo to pass along. That was Jonesboro, Illinois. This is Anna, Illinois, with some tree limbs down, some big branches down. Wow, that looks really concerning. Did you see that?
Yeah.
That might have been a brief tornado there in Jackson, Missouri. Looking at behind the shelf cloud in Jackson, this looks like to be about quarter-sized hail.
Yeah,
now,
and those were big. I mean, those were thick hailstones, so that would do some damage.
Serious damage on the siding and on the rooftops. And here was a picture of a large tree branch that was taken down. That is very concerning.
That's an interesting shot right there.
Yeah, this was underneath a shelf cloud. That's your shelf cloud right there. This is what we call the whale's mouth. The cloud's billowing. It looks very scary, and usually not too far from there are your strongest wind gusts. So we want to thank all of you for sending that in. If you can safely do so, get us your storm reports. Again, if you can safely do so, get us your storm reports, send any photos so we can get a better idea of where and how bad this damage is. Now, the latest updates, we have now 17,000 power outages in southeast Missouri. 17,000 power outages in southeast Missouri. 4,126 power outages in southern Illinois, with more thunderstorms on the way. Grant was talking about how these isolated storms are developing. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. A lot of power outages. So make sure, this is why we say have multiple ways of getting your severe warnings. What if you lose power? You don't have your TV. You've got a fully charged phone. You've got a fully charged Kindle or iPad or whatever. But look at what's going on to our west. These thunderstorms are going to continue to develop and move right into the heartland. And we will continue to see a flash flooding threat as these thunderstorms kind of go parallel to the wind flow that's aloft. So a lot of severe thunderstorms stretching along I-44, those will be moving into the heartland as well. Now, we have a blanket severe thunderstorm warning, what we refer to by blanket. A widespread severe thunderstorm warning has just been issued. Looks like this goes into, it lasts until 7:15. So this is a severe thunderstorm warning for Pope, Johnson County, all the way down to Graves, Callaway, and Marshall County until 7:15. We are tracking a high threat of damaging straight line wind on the leading edge of this thunderstorm, 60 to 80 miles an hour. Also some strong wind gusts behind this initial line of thunderstorms with the rear inflow jet that's kind of helped fuel these thunderstorms move so quickly. Now, Grant, the latest update to these severe thunderstorms, they're moving to the east at 65 miles an hour. So we're also watching this little strip. This thunderstorm right here looks like it's really gaining intensity. Some very strong wind on the leading edge of this thunderstorm, now approaching New Madrid, now approaching southern Scott County, Hickman, Fulton County. This severe thunderstorm warning goes until 6:45. Until 6:45, this severe thunderstorm warning is in effect. It does include Sikeston, it does include New Madrid, it includes Dealstadt, it includes Charleston. These thunderstorms can produce damaging wind gusts in excess of 60 to 80 miles an hour. And also large hail. We've had a lot of reports of quarter to golf ball sized hail. So Murray, fair dealing, Mayfield, you're under the warning now, but you're wondering what's going on. You've just got hit hard with a lot of thunderstorms about an hour ago. Looks like we're seeing some more wind gusts, some severe wind gusts approaching your area. So the Weather Service, a wise decision, not wasting any time. We're under another threat from Murray, Paducah, Mayfield, all the way back toward Arlington and Hickman. So again, a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for western Kentucky and southern Illinois until 7:15 this evening.
Yeah, and this is the type of event that we need to treat